There's a really troubling story coming out of the Kingdom of Bhutan. It's about a prominent online figure, a digital voice, who has apparently been silenced. So we're going to dig into what we know and maybe more importantly, what we don't.
Okay, get this. 24 years. That is the staggering prison sentence that journalists and human rights activists are reporting has been given to a well-known social media influencer in Bhutan.
And what was this terrible crime? Well, it's allegedly for posting a few songs online. Yep, you heard that right, songs. But here's the real kicker. There has been zero official confirmation. Nothing. So that's the central mystery we're looking at today. We're going to try to piece this together and ask, what is really going on here? All right, let's start with the basics. We'll lay out the core facts of the case as we understand them from the sources that are speaking out. So reports from journalists and activists outside the country say that sometime between February and March of this year, an influencer named Raghupati Subedi was arrested. And the whole thing seems to stem from 3 songs he released. These songs apparently referenced a massive national project, the Gellifu Mindfulness City. We'll talk more about that project in just a minute. So who is this man at the center of all this concern? Let's get to know Raghupati Subedi, also known as the Dawn of Asia. 78,000. That's how many people follow his verified Facebook page. He's one of Bhutan's most prominent, independent online voices, and he's known for being pretty outspoken on everything from corruption to youth empowerment. His supporters describe him as, quote, a fearless digital voice who dared to question power in a nation where dissent is often muted. That paints a picture of someone who wasn't afraid to tackle tough subjects, which is pretty rare in Bhutan's media landscape. And this isn't some new thing for him. Long before he was famous on social media, he was involved in the country's civic life. Back in 2013, he actually ran for a seat in the National Council. It just goes to show he's been trying to be part of the public conversation for a long time. Now, to really understand why his songs might have landed him in so much trouble, we have to look at what they were about. This super ambitious Gellifu Mindfulness City project. The GMC is a huge deal in Bhutan. It's this major, royally backed plan to build a special economic zone in the south, one that mixes economic growth with the country's unique spiritual values. And Subedi was clearly very invested in this project and the discussions around it. So much so that he even started humorously calling himself the self-declared mayor of Gellifu. It's a small detail, but it really shows how engaged he was with the city's future. And this brings us to the most confusing and honestly the most chilling part of this whole story, the complete and total lack of official information. I mean, we're talking about a supposed 24-year prison sentence, and yet not one major media outlet in Bhutan, not the state-run ones, not the private ones, has said a word about his arrest or any trial. It is a complete media blackout. This table really explains why getting confirmation is so hard. The judicial system in Bhutan just isn't very transparent to the public. Arrest records are kept internal, there's no public database of court cases you can just search. So for journalists, trying to verify this stuff is next to impossible. The key takeaway here is this. If you go looking on the official judiciary website, there is absolutely no record of this case. Officially, it's like it never even happened. But while the official channels are quiet, the digital world is anything but. His supporters and the wider Bhutanese diaspora are starting to raise their voices. You're starting to see hashtags like #FreeRaghupatiSubedi and #TheDawnOfAsia spread on social media. It's a real grassroots movement trying to get international attention on his case and demand some answers. So when you look at the timeline, it's pretty stark. He's involved in civics in 2013, he gets arrested early this year, and now, months later, there's just a void of official information. That kind of silence can have a really chilling effect. And all of this leaves us with one final, very important question. For a nation that's building a mindfulness city and promoting well-being to the world, what does it mean when one of its most prominent critics just vanishes into an information black hole? It's a huge contradiction to think about.